Hello and welcome. Today we're at Universal Studios in Singapore and we're going to take a look around the Sci-Fi section, which starts off in this amazing Transformers area. Then you can see the huge roller coaster a little bit further down, and that is actually a different theme under the Sci-Fi banner. So like some other Universal parks where Transformers is separate on the map, Transformers comes underneath the Sci-Fi banner, but there is a lot of photo opportunities walking around here. So you can see you've got the stationary one just there, which is taken by a proper photographer. You can see where it says Sci-Fi City just up at the top, and then you can get some food, snacks and drinks. And then on the other side, or directly behind me, that is where they actually have the live actors for the Transformers, including a shop, which is massive, the ride, and then they also have a really nice restaurant as well. But all of the theming that is located around here is something very, very special indeed. It's probably my favourite area, actually. I think I've been so far into a Universal Studios for the Transformers section, because normally you just walk around the outside of the ride. Beside the ride it has a shop, and then you just move on to the next zone, where the fact that this is actually in its own sort of area, I think it looks really, really nice, and it works really well with all the theming and everything above and obviously all around. But the nice thing is, because the park is so hot, certain sections of the park are undercover as well, so that does keep it a little bit cooler, which is obviously always a nice thing. But you can see in the windows there's lots of different theming available for you to have a look at and take some photos of. Like I said, it's just generic sci-fi bits and pieces, but there might be some Easter eggs to some of the films, and there also might be some Easter eggs to the Transformers bits and pieces as well. So it's definitely worth stopping and having a look and just seeing everything that's about. But that is the Daycare Centre, I think that might have been, or repair centre. If it was a day centre, it would have been doing a very good job on that one. But you can see as I go through, we then move into a completely separate zone, which will be available somewhere within this playlist. So now I think we're walking into the New York area, I do believe, but there is a live show going on just in the background, and that was happening all the time around the park. Coming back into the Transformers section, you can see you've got the Transformers, the ride. Inside this area just here is the massive Transformers supply vault. Now, about to have a highlight reel of the different bits and pieces that you can do and see on the inside of this, but that is available again separately on the channel of the Transformers supply vault, where you'll see all of the different toys, all the different merchandise and everything like that. But they do have some park exclusives and hard to find toys and merchandise. There's lots and lots of different bits and pieces available within this store, and obviously it was a very impressive store just to look around, and you can spend a lot of time in here if you are a big Transformers fan. And obviously you've got to walk through this store once you get off the queue itself, so it wraps you around out the exit and it just spits you through into this shop. So it's very, very cleverly done. But the video that I've uploaded is a long video, it's all been slowed down, so you should be able to see some of the pricing and different bits and pieces like that. But this store was a big one. Now, moving to the outside, you can see that is again the way in and the way out from the supply vault. And then as we pan round, I'm just basically getting my bearings, because I did each zone completely blind, and then the full park tour I knew exactly where to point the camera, because I ended up walking around the park separately in a different direction and actually finding some other little bits and pieces that I missed walking around the first time. So for the full park tour, you'll see absolutely everything that is there. Like, for example, we're about to have a look at the restaurant. So you can see it says Star Dots. That wasn't open when I first came round, but at the end of the day when they were tidying up, I did manage to get in, and luckily I had my phone in my hand and we filmed this. Now this is a really, really cool little area. We can see it just says it's the Starbucks Cafe, and you've got all of the really cool bits and pieces all around the outside. So it did look like it was a nice place to eat. Obviously I wasn't going to walk in there too far, because it did look like they had literally just mopped the floor and they had just done all the tables and chairs. So obviously it was super, super clean on the inside. But you can see you've got some little Easter eggs of the G1 and G2 around the outside, which I'm pretty sure that is to do with the original cartoon. So it's one of those where if you sort of like you blink and you miss. If you are sat down in here and you're having a very, very good bite to eat, I think there'll be a lot of things that you could do just to soak it in. And again, you can see the difference in time. It's getting a little bit darker, and there's not as many people about. So for the full park tour, it's a lot more calm when we're coming around, and the lights, when it was a little bit darker, was brilliant. As you can see, the Sci-Fi City was really, really popping. It was still bright and vibrant, but you could just see the LEDs were just starting to come through as the sun was starting to set. But back to the present day, where the sun is very, very hot indeed, and you can see that's what they've done with that roof, and you can see all the amazing theming around the outside. Now, I have taken inspiration from this for my own display for the Lego channel, but we are obviously sticking towards the actual theme parks on here. But this does give some good ideas of different bits and pieces that you can do with merging different different sets together. And talking of merging things together, yes, that is a red and black track. They are two massive roller coasters within this theme park, as was stood round a really nice photo opportunity for Bumblebee, and then obviously you've got the pay to plays that are just there. But these two roller coasters, they are both as quick as the Hulk in Florida, but they are a lot smoother. So I did each one of these 2 or 3 times, which was very, very lucky. And I managed to do them towards the end of the day, because the plan was, as I was walking around, I was going to go on every single ride as I walked around, and obviously just made a big day of it. And one of the rides had actually failed. So there was, I think it was the one on the black track, is where I think that's the one you stand up on, while your legs are floating rather than actually being sat down completely. So they're 2 completely different rides, even though the track layout looks similar. So that was shut for most of the day, and then when I came round, it was a 5-minute wait, and the theming and everything on that was fantastic. And you can see you've got a nice little Bumblebee ride, which is, I do believe, is a very, very sped up version of basically the teacups, which would make me violently vomit absolutely everywhere. I can do that absolutely no problem, and you can see what I mean about the seating configuration on that one, because you're literally dangling underneath, whereas on the red one you are sat on the actual seat. So I didn't know that there was 2 big roller coasters here, and I was walking past Cyclone thinking, well, that is just the Cyclone bit, and then there's actually another locker a little bit further down, and then there's another queue line for the other one. So you've got to pick and choose the queue line that you want to enter. Now the lockers were a bit on the bizarre side, because in certain areas the lockers were free for up to the first hour, or maybe the first 45 minutes, and then you got charged, which I always find a little bit weird. But it's, you know, it's completely different in every single country, because they don't do that over in the other 2 that I've been to in the States. But in certain areas the lockers were also free, and in other areas you didn't get any free time at all. But when the ride broke down, because I was actually in the queue line when the ride broke down, everybody stayed there, and then obviously they then cancelled it and everybody had to get off. But because everybody had been there for so long, they wouldn't have actually been able to get on the ride, but they still would have had to have paid for the locker for that area, because just like the Hulk, you are not allowed anything on you at all. No phone, no nothing, because they are very, very quick indeed. So their locker system was completely different to anything I've experienced. Super easy to use though, but it is one of those things of, you've just got to add that into your budget, because if you do every single ride and you've got to use every single locker, then obviously you've got to be a little bit careful. But luckily, when I came back round here, I managed to do all of these. Like I said, I think I did them twice each minimum, and I didn't actually have to pay for the locker either, which was absolutely fantastic. But you can see no loose items or anything on there, and it is under the Battlestar Galactica name. So if you are a fan of that film, that definitely will be a ride for you. And then you can see you've got ancient Egypt a little bit further down, which is a completely different zone. Now, jumping on and moving through to the next bit, this is one of the seats. So this is the one that you sort of flop your legs around with, and that was a cool little thing just to see as a test seat. And you can see just people waiting to get through and the queue coming on the outside. The queue does move relatively quick, but it is one of those things of, if there is having a problem or it's a very, very busy day, then you will have to be waiting there a little while. But you can just see the size of the Sci-Fi City now. So we're having sort of like a snippet and highlights. Like I said, I'm just getting my bearings, and it's very, very difficult to figure out exactly which way the track went when there's nothing running, because I was trying to film the thing shoot round, and I then did find a perfect area to stand on by the water. You can have a look at all the water fountains and everything going, and then these go straight over the top of your head. But you can see you've got the big launch coaster up at the top, then it shoots down, then it shoots off into the water, then it wraps round again. If I was to turn right now and walk in a straight line, you've got the Mummy there, and then you've got a couple of other rides under the Egypt theme, which again they don't have at Florida, because in Florida it is very much a case of you just walk past the Mummy, and that is included in, I think it might be New York area, the big city that you walk through to start with, whereas here they have got it in their own zone, which I think I prefer, because it is quite interesting to see the differences at every single different Universal. Now, I am just walking down a cut through just to basically explore where I'm going. You keep your track to the left hand side, it opens up, Really nice little seating area down here, and you can see just the size of the coaster. And then to the right hand side, there is also another way into that area where it snakes and zigzags through. But this was the place to stand, because you can see all the water. It was an amazing thing, and then you can have these roller coasters just shooting over your head for amazing photos. If I spun 180 and looked directly behind me, you would then be able to see all the way down the water. Oh, I'm doing that anyway. So you can see you go all the way down the water, and that's something else that's already been filmed. So this is a really, really nice little cut through. If you didn't want to walk all the way through the sci-fi bit, but you wanted to miss the massive hustle and bustle of probably what is one of the more busiest sections of the park, apart from Jurassic Park, that was absolutely ramsacked. This was an amazing place just to stop, think, and see everything. And yes, that is a huge castle, but no, it's not Disney, because don't forget, I am at Universal. But guys, I am very, very quickly starting to run out of time. So if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. There are lots and lots of videos to come from this part of the world under this Universal Studios, and again, we've got them from Hollywood, and we've also got the Universal Studios from Florida as well, so you can check out all the different playlists, and of course any other trips and travels that I've done along the way with regards to hotels and other adventures like that are all being uploaded on this channel. But if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.